Welcome to the 1457 podcast from Scotland where golf began, a digital platform where we want to inspire golfers near and far with our great photography, our short films and stories, and of course, our podcasts. We want you to come to Scotland and play all the fine courses we talk about, the famous and the not so well known. You'll find all you need to know how to stay, play, eat and travel around Scotland on our website, scotlandwheregolfbegan.com. And you'll find us on social at where golf began. That's at where golf began, and on Facebook at Scotland where golf began. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. We're taking a trip around Scotland's regions today, a trip that you can do in all those areas, and you can do that with a little bit of luck. We're going to teach you how to do that for under £500. If you go to the website Scotland where golf began and click golf, and then all the golf courses, you'll see the whole of Scotland broken down into regions and a link to every golf course in Scotland. But first, the panel of resident golf nuts, Fife's finest, Dave Kerr of Fairways to Heaven. Dave, how goes it?
Very well, Malcolm. Wintering well.
I keep teaching them, trying to get them not to timestamp these things. It's actually a blazing day outside in the middle of spring, middle of summer out here, or maybe it's just pitch black and I'm sipping my whiskey because it's cold out there. And our co-pilot Roscoe, how you doing? Our resident Scuzzy, I see you've got your gloves on inside, mate.
I do. If this goes out any way, shape or form as video, it's definitely going to be timestamped because the beanie's still on and the compression gloves are on. The compression gloves because they just help with maintain a little bit of circulation in the house, which we've got opposing heating strategies here in the house. One half of us wants no heat, the other half needs a bit of heat. So I just have to make do with compression gloves. Anyway, that's boring. I'm great. Thank you, Malcolm. And I'm keen to learn more because I'm out on the road a bit, and I've been visiting some golf pros in Scotland of courses that I'd never previously heard of, and everyone that I turn up to, and to do some business in the work that I've got now, the course looks fantastic, the hospitality's fantastic, the setting's fantastic, and it's been a lot of fun, and it just lends my thinking towards what Dave's got to, and we're going to talk about today, is this opportunity to experience golf at an affordable rate. There's so much talk about expense. Let's talk about what we can do, and there's plenty of it. Another bit of housekeeping, Malcolm, while I've got everyone's your attention and Dave's attention. Just want to say thanks to everyone who's reached out. We've put out a few podcasts, but there's been some great feedback from people, and we really appreciate that, and it makes us want to keep turning up for the fun of it. I'm certainly enjoying it, and as an Australian podcaster in a Scottish podcast, it warms my heart to see every bit of feedback that we get, and also thanks to Jamie for the great little videos that accompany the podcast. Really does help get the attention that it richly deserves.
Good. And the boy needs warmed up today. And I'm Malcolm Vidduck, out of work restaurateur, hotelier, trying to seek gainful employment. And today we're trying to talk to those of you who want to come to Scotland and want to plan an affordable trip. If that's what you do, then this is for you. And today we're going to look at two of our regions. We're going to look at our towns in our regions. We're going to look at Aberdeen and Troon, so Aberdeenshire and Ayrshire. And Dave, our resident golf organizer with Fairways to Heaven, that wonderful American company that he would never plug in the world. And we've got some great tour operators. This is us putting it together. You can always visit tour operators on the website as well. But Dave, you put a bit of work in. We're going to start with, where are we starting, David?
Aberdeen. I know, alphabetically, it's the place to start, isn't it? I can't think of any double A towns in Scotland, so I think this is probably the start.
Or Drossen?
That's an AR.
That's an AR, that's two. Yeah.
There's some good golf around there too, though. It's very close to Troon. So, so Aberdeen. Again, it's we spend so much time talking about the top tier of golf courses in Scotland, and we have made a big play over the last 20 odd episodes of these that what Scotland really has in spades is strength and depth when it comes to golf courses. So we're going to try and cover a range of that range as much as we can with these packages, and again. These are not set in stone. I don't necessarily follow them to the letter. It's just to give people a bit of inspiration and ideas as to they could put a wee package together themselves. So we're starting in Aberdeen, and what Aberdeen's got is a couple of wonderful municipal golf courses, and some quite storied ones as well, particularly Hazelhead. Right in the centre of Aberdeen, they've got a golf course designed by Alistair Mackenzie himself in the 1920s, just a few years before he made it down the road to Augusta and put his stamp on the famous Augusta National Golf Club. Again, it's a bit rough around the edges, one could argue, municipal golf course, but for £31.50 for a summer round, can you go wrong? Can you play an Alistair Mackenzie course for £31.50 anywhere in the world?
It doesn't compute to me because, coming from Melbourne and obviously being exposed to the Melbourne Sandbelt, the good Dr. Alistair Mackenzie is in blueprint of golf designers all over the Sandbelt, as you know, of course, Royal Melbourne. It just blows me away that you could actually play on a Mackenzie course for that type of investment. Again, another one I haven't seen. Need to go to. It must be worth more than that. But anyway, keep going, Dave. Sorry, I'm just blown away.
It's a good point, though, Ross. I think to have a man in the 1920s spend some time, obviously in his local area building golf courses, and then on the other side of the world, Royal Melbourne, Royal Adelaide, New South Wales, Brisbane. It's got a few in New Zealand as well. It's just, it beggars belief, really, that the man was so prolific and so well-travelled at a time when it was, you were getting on a boat for weeks on end to go from one end of the world to the other.
Yeah, right? Crazy.
But I think Dave, in there, I mean, you've got Mackenzie, but you've got old Tom Morris, and you've got James Braid. And, you say a bit rough around the edges, but so many Scottish courses are. And there's this whole argument, if it's not over £100, it can't be any good. And then when it gets under 180, it's far too damned expensive. And then those of you heard Neil Hampton on the Dornoch podcast, and go back and listen to that. Neil was absolutely brilliant on it. He's talking about where is golf going in the price worldwide. And he talked about his mate who's got a 350 quid round at Sawgrass, but he got a rate. The other guy's paying 750. That's a lot more than 300 or 400 the top end here. So here you are at 3150, able to play a golf course designed by one of the world's top golf designers way back at the beginning, absolute tradition of Scottish golf courses. And some of the golf courses are inland, some of them are links, but it doesn't take away. They're just beautifully played. They're not long, so they're good for the average golfer. And I think if you come on a golf trip, you won't be disappointed. But also, if you're visiting and you're coming with a family and you want to do one course or a day off on one course and not take too long, then some of these smaller courses are fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Again, I think with these, particularly a city course like Hazelhead, it's got so much flexibility in terms of how you would go and enjoy that. And again, as you say, I think it's just over 6,000 yards. So, you're not going to be out there for 5 hours. You're going to be out there enjoying some of the wonderful architecture of Alistair Mackenzie and just having a great time with it. And again, not far from one of the other courses that we've included in this little package, a golf course called Balnagasc Links occupies a similar bit of land to where Royal Aberdeen is, out there on the foreshore. Again, it's one of what is designated the 247 true links in the world, recognised by the Links Association and well documented in the book by George Pepper and Malcolm Campbell, their book True Links, which I think I always respect someone who has that book in their collection, because it shows you're a proper connoisseur of the links golf courses. We're very lucky in Scotland that we've got 85 of those 247 true links here. And this one, again, is run by the local authority through an arm's length body called Sport Aberdeen. And again, the green fee is £31.50. And it's, again, a tremendous little links course with some really good views and maybe a little rough around the edges. But the last time I played it last summer, the greens were as true as any golf course I'd played that year.
But I think a lot of golf historians, people love the history of golf. That's the kind of stuff they really, really enjoy playing. Gullen was looking at making some big changes on the 3 courses, and I shook my head a little bit, because why are you trying to change these wonderful golf courses and make them more like modern courses? I played at Renaissance with a 3 handicapper the other day in the wind and the rat. We all thought, oh, this is long, and it was only off the yellows, but and I think Renaissance is also in that book. But the some of these courses they're just really, really special, and they're not. People would say sometimes the tour operators don't promote them, but I don't think that's true. Tour operators get asked for a lot of things. You can comment on this, obviously, Dave. So a lot of things people have been told you must go and play these great courses, and they're not asked about the small courses. And I know quite a few of the Scottish tour operators have been trying to push out some of the wee ones. So as it gets harder and harder to get on times, I looked up some courses today for 3 times the prices, and struggled a bit on the website to find the price, because you had to book the time to find the price. And goodness me, the top end courses are the well-known ones, and therefore the more expensive ones are just book solid. Where a lot of these courses, Dave, they're probably availability is quite good. And again,
Absolutely.
600 old courses in Scotland, and some of them really struggling to survive. So just to make you guys listening and girls listening feel better, go play them. 1, you enjoy them, and 2, you're also helping those golf courses stay alive, because the more visitor revenue they get, that balances the fees. Like Neil Hampton made the point, we've only got a small population in Scotland, a lot of golf courses, so we need people to come and play them. And we're a friendly nation, which Ross may attest to or may not attest to, or Scuzzy. But you'll find these clubs full of members who will be very proud of their club. They'll tell you where to get a meal, they'll tell you where to get a drink, what to drink, and all the rest of it. So it's not just the golf you'll enjoy, you'll be welcomed in and treated with open arms. Where you go to something like a Turnberry, fantastic golf course, you're going to a place that you could kind of get the same experience in different places. But again, they're just making, we'll talk about that in Troon, but they're making a couple of changes. I think that opens back again in May, but we can talk about that down the line. So have you found it friendly in Scotland, Ross, when you've gone meeting people?
Oh, all my life. But, in my time coming here as an adult, yeah, absolutely. And especially in and around the golf courses, when I sound like an Australian, and I'm not trying to acclimate to my local accent or native accent that I spoke with as a child, everyone wants to know where you're from. And, there's always a story and always a connection. And, people have offered me coffee, beer, just by being in and around the golf courses and the clubhouses, and they're great. And I was in Lanark today, and a beautiful clubhouse, a lot of history there. I'm sure these stories can be replicated on every course that we're talking about here. And as you mentioned, Ballinagasque, I've never played golf in and around Aberdeen, but I see where it is on the map, and I don't think you could pick almost a better spot to put a links on that stretch of coast that is otherwise not already occupied by great golf courses. Overlooking the entrance to Aberdeen Harbour, a significant port, a lot of ships going in and out there to, one of Scotland's significant industries, the oil industry, ferries, etc. It looks like a magnificent location for a golf course.
Dave, what does acclimate mean? Explain, or we just need to do some translations on the Scuzzy? Is that the same as acclimatise?
Maybe. It sounds like it's related in some ways.
It sounds like that. Okay, we're a bit of training.
I think you make an interesting point, Malcolm, in terms of the cost of golf in Scotland, and I think one of the things that we do with clients once they're finished their trip, coming towards the end of their trip, or maybe even when they've gone home, is ask them to kind of rank the courses that they played, and because they've only ever seen a package price from us. They've never seen the individual breakdown of individual green fees and their hotel nights and what have you. Then it's as close as you can get maybe to a blind test as to, is there a correlation? Is there always a correlation between cost and experience? I always find it quite interesting when there is no correlation, and sometimes someone will come and they'll play, they'll do the St Andrews week, and they'll play on the old course and maybe the Castle course and Kingsbarns and Dumbarton and maybe Carnoustie, and then they'll have a fun afternoon on Anstruther. And they'll rank that amongst the top 2 or 3 experiences that they had. It's a 9-hole course. It's not flashy or particularly exciting, but there's some really interesting holes on that. Some great views again out over the Firth of Forth, and it's just an experience. It's an experience which is different to anything else. If you took a look at these courses and you didn't rank them by price, how would you overall rate the experience of your day? And I think I don't know how you would manage a blind tasting like that, but it's something we can maybe have a think about, and can we try and do something like that? But moving on to the third course in the package. So we've kind of designed these packages as kind of 4 nights, 3 rounds of golf, basically. But again, all the packages that we'll talk about, the 2 we're going to do today, and maybe we'll do some more in the future, they're all in regions that are rich with golf. So you could easily spend a week or 2 weeks in these areas and play, a dozen golf courses. So the third course that we've got in this package, though, and I'm biased because I'm a member here, is Cruden Bay. So a little bit out of Aberdeen, a lovely drive up the coast from the city to Cruden Bay. Obviously, a course that's in the top 100 golf courses in the world. One of the 18 courses that Bonneway Golf has chosen as part of their Old Tom Morris Trail. We've obviously spoken to David Harris about that one recently. Laid out by Old Tom back in 1899. Obviously, in this instance, the green fee is a little higher than the 2 courses we've just spoken about. For the summer, that's £185. But that also includes 9 holes on the St Olaf course, which was the ladies' course. Now, a terrific little 9-hole course that sits in the middle of the championship course. And you can play that second round either on the day you play the main course, the day before, or the day after, and laying up there at Cruden Bay will help you find a slot to fit that into your itinerary if that's something you're interested in doing. Again, I'm conscious, maybe Malcolm, you have played the course. Ross, you've said you've not been to Aberdeenshire, so Cruden Bay is not one you've been to. But again, I think it feels like we need to find some time in the summer, the 3 of us, to go and experience Aberdeenshire a bit. I don't know, Malcolm, the last time you were up there, when was that?
I've been up to Aberdeen a bit, and I've played Fraserburgh for ages, but it's one of the, it's not Fraserburgh, Cruden Bay for ages. It's a gorgeous golf course. I mean, that whole area up there, it's just beautiful links land. And again, it's very difficult to, as you say, to rank some of these things as to what makes it great. I mean, if you play a course like Carnoustie in a windy, wet day, does that make it a horrible course when you play what's over the back of it, when you play Barrybudden on a beautiful sunny day? So obviously Carnoustie is a championship golf course. Barrybudden's not, but a lot of different things influence you as to what makes you think it's a good or a bad course. Almost all the courses in Scotland, even the newer ones, have all tried to retain some of that Scottishness and friendliness. I mean, you play the old course, wonderful it is if you go into the visitor centre. It's not the same as going into Cruden Bay Clubhouse or Fraserburgh Clubhouse or these local clubhouses. It's a different experience, but it's a great golf course. The whole thing's different. So, but no, absolutely. I think we should go up and play some more of these. And I'm certainly, I've got a bit more time on my hands, quite keen to get out and play and take both my hickories and my clubs, my normal clubs out. But the reason I mentioned hickories is a lot of these courses were designed when people were playing hickory golf. So, if you think they couldn't be as long as the modern courses are, because you couldn't get there with hickories. So Old Tom could hit it a pretty long way if you look at his open round at Prestwick, but they were all designed to play that with the featheries and all the rest. And golf, we're the 1457 podcast, because that's when golf was first noted, when James II banned the big ball and the wee ball, which was golf and football, so they could practice archery to shoot the Anglaises. You said the wee course was at the ladies' course. When did that change from being that?
It just when Tom Morris got involved, he redesigned that course and obviously the main championship as well. It's a terrific 27 holes. Again, Cruden Bay. There's a few there's a few rises and falls that maybe test your stamina a little bit, but it's definitely an experience. So the 27 holes that you could do in a single day without putting yourself out too much. I think in an ideal world, what I would suggest is a late afternoon, maybe early afternoon arrival into the area, play the 9 holes of the St Olaf, get yourself used to the links land. You get some amazing views of the championship course from out there as well, and then the next day enjoy the championship course itself. I think that's sounds like a couple of wonderful days for me. Moving on to the hotel then. So for this package, what we've thought about is one of our wonderful members is the Sandman Hotel in the centre of Aberdeen. And again, you can have 4 nights and a couple of twin rooms there. It's a hotel that's got a spa and a gym. It's right in the middle of Aberdeen, surrounded by all the wonderful bars and restaurants that Aberdeen has to offer. And for the 3 courses we've discussed and those 4 nights and twin rooms, you're talking about less than £500 per person, right in the heart of summer. So June, July, I checked earlier today, there's still availability at the hotel and on at Cruden at these golf courses right through the summer this and 25. So, this is often we find ourselves looking at what the time frame to book something is, and we're talking about 12, 18 months out for some of the courses here in Scotland. But this is one where, within the next 3 or 4 months, you could be going and enjoying yourself on these courses and staying in the wonderful Sandman Hotel in Aberdeen.
Dave, I think that's a great point because, not everyone wants to or has the wherewithal to book a guided tour. Dave and Bodyway Golf and your business and the other businesses that are members. A lot of people just want to come, bomb in and play some golf and within a reasonable sort of proximity get some tee times. The thing that I look for in talking about the Sandman and Aberdeen is Aberdeen's a great town. It's a big city. I have been to Aberdeen. I haven't played any golf around there, but I was surprised when I went up there for the first time last year how big it was, and how the appearance of modernness, even though those beautiful old buildings are obviously very old, but it was a big modern city. It's one of Edinburgh's 5 cities. To my point of being able to go to a place and experience golf around that region without having to be absolutely locked into a tour. There's so much other golf that we haven't spoken about. We've picked out 3 great options there at, a more upper end at Cruden Bay and Ballinagask and Hazelhead. But, north and south of Aberdeen, there's another extension of great golf, like I look at Port Lethlin, another great golf course just down to the south, and then you could travel all the way down back and abound yourself with golf that you've never heard of and have a great trip.
Venture a little bit further north, you've got Fraserburgh, which Malcolm has mentioned. You've got Peterhead, which is 10 minutes from Cruden Bay, I think. And then you've got the likes of the Murray Coast, bring you back in Hopeman, Covesea, Cullen, the 2 courses at Lossiemouth, Moray Old and Moray New, taking you all the way down towards Nairn and Nairn Dunbar. Obviously here we're talking about a very kind of specific package, but that once you're in that area, it opens a gateway to so many other courses in the area. You could easily lose yourself for a couple of weeks. And again, following on from the point I made earlier about a relatively short-term availability, so looking at something booking 4 or 5 months ahead, all of the courses I've mentioned, you could find availability there to go and do that yourself at relatively short notice.
Yeah, if you nip on the website, as I say, and you go into click on the golf page and then go to the all the other courses, they split them into regions. And if you click on Aberdeenshire, 55 golf courses are listed in there. They don't all have pictures, but they've all got links to the website. And what's happening more and more now is the morning times are getting booked faster, even in the bigger places, but you may in the summer find availability later in the afternoon. So those of you who are maybe looking to travel 6 or 10 or 12 weeks out or coming on spec, you can still come on spec and and book and play golf, and you'll meet people, and the next time you come, you'll find it easier because you'll have met all those people. But we've also got Duffhouse Royal up there, and if you go back to the film section of the website and all the videos, you'll find a little film of that. Mercer is just beside Royal Aberdeen and so on. 165 weekdays, 190 weekends. Built, designed by Archie Simpson and redone by James Braid. So two great courses, and of course we've got Trump, which I've not played. I don't play Trump Aberdeen. I'm getting a big look from Dave. And
I'm surprised that someone's not availed you of an invitation to Trump.
I made a very big mistake, and I didn't really. I played Kings Barnes very early, and it took me a while to fall in love with Kings Barnes, which I do now, and it's a tremendous place, and the way you looked after it, the golf course, and Hoggy and his team done a wonderful job there. But Martin Hawtrey, who designed it, used to stay with us quite a lot of ducks, and he said, "Don't play it for 5 years. Give it time to bed and to settle in." So it's been a bit more than 5 years now, and I need really to go and up there, because Jonas, who was one of the young pros at Archerfield, is now up there, one of the main guys. So what about Trump Aberdeen, Dave?
Yeah, it's an absolutely tremendous golf course. Tough, definitely one where you need to pick your tees appropriately to make sure that you have a good fun day. But it just absolutely visually stunning, great variety of holes, and a proper test. Some of the dunes that they've managed to construct there are just awe-inspiring, really. And obviously a second course coming as well. The existing course going to be renamed the Old Course, and then I think the new course, what they're going to call that, maybe the Balmady or something like that. Another option in the area, which is fantastic, and quite an experience up there. 36 holes, that'll be.
Dave, well, great job. £490, that package that you could, not package, but that little map out that you put there with the 3 courses and some accommodation. Extend on as much as you want. But Angus, it's what an area that you could spend just dedicate to an area. Great trip, great package, and you could scale that up or as much as you like, as we've just discussed. What's the next area, Dave?
Before we go there, just need to give a wee shout out to a couple of other accommodation members. The Mary Coulter House and the Dunes at Cruden Bay, that's actually on site. And the other thing we need to mention, just very quickly, is you really are in Whiskeyland when you go there. You're beginning to walk into Whiskeyland, then right through to Inverness on that trip, Glendarnoch, Craddocairn, Glenroy, Royal Lochnagar. So if you're into your whiskey, then that's a place to go. And in mind to go to the, as I said, to the website and check out those courses. So
is the Dunes at Cruden Bay? Is that Rue's place?
Some clients stayed there last year, absolutely loved it. Even took the time to write a personal thank you to Rue because they enjoyed it so much.
I think everyone in Scotland knows Rue McDonald. If you don't, he's certainly someone who puts a lot of time and effort and emotion into promoting Scottish golf and golf in Scotland and the importance of golf in Scotland to the world. So he's got that place, the Dunes, and he's a great young man, and
he won young golf personality of the year when it first came out many moons ago.
Don't date the man. Don't date the man. It was just a few years ago.
So how many moons ago?
Did you never win that, Malcolm?
This last weekend, the crap I've been getting, my new name is Old Tom, because apparently I was born in whenever it was, though. I don't think I've ever been a young man. I'm just, I am.
You predate the industry. Is that?
I was Old Tom's granddad, apparently. Probably the Hastings G. Thank you, Gav.
All right, very good. Dave, what's next?
Moving on. So again, we thought we'd pick an area about as far from Aberdeenshire as we could. So we've chosen Troon as our second destination here. Obviously, storied, very famous. Another, I think we've discussed on a recent podcast, the wonderful recent Open Championship won by Xander Schauffele down at Royal Troon. And here again, we're starting our trip at a municipal course. So Troon's Darley course. There's three municipal courses in the area. Introon, Darley, Lochgreen and Fullerton. Darley's probably the purest links course of the three. Again, not long, 6,000-ish yards, but if the wind's up, don't think it's going to be easy. Relatively tight fairways, tricky bunkering, and part of an amazing ring of golf that surrounds the town of Troon, actually. So, with 6 golf courses. So, beautiful place.
Darley, I think, is one of my favourite golf courses. It's not always quite maintained the way the other two are. I think Lochgreen is possibly one of the most played golf courses in Scotland, and the three of them set out from the clubhouse right by the train station. Lochgreen is where I learned to play golf with my Uncle Dave. I remember playing with my wee boy Og, and we was very slow and sitting there waiting for the people to finish playing. He was about 4 or 5 making daisy chains, but it just comes right along. Like there's three great fun golf courses for all levels. But Darley, I think, is possibly one of the most underrated golf courses in Scotland. If you put your ball in the right place, it's there. You have to think every shot. First 3 holes you'll ever hate. They're quite open. They're a bit like they're not a bit like, but they are a bit like the first at the old course in there, or Glen Eagles are wide open courses. Their problem is distance and the bunkering positions. And then you go over the hill, and probably the weakest hole is the second on Darley, where it is a little bit of a field you have to get, because that's where the school kids cross to go into school. And then you're just into golf heaven, I think.
Yeah, no, it's and again, we're talking about a £40 green fee in the summer here. So, but I've had some really terrific days out on the course at Darley. Just great fun, and it's definitely a thinking man's golf course. So one of the next course that we've kind of considered in the area is Prestwick St Nicholas. Again, it's one that old Tom Morris was a member of. He was one of the driving forces in setting up the club. At the time, they shared the old Prestwick course with Prestwick Golf Club, and indeed he won 3 of his Open Championships while he was a member of Prestwick St Nicholas, or Prestwick Mechanics, I believe it was at the time. But again, it's a tricky course. You have to put the ball in the right place. 2 terrific drivable par 4s on 3 and 15, and that finishing hole is a par 3, 227 yards down the hill, outbounds all the way down the right hand side, which for a man of my shot shape is not ideal. For me, probably aim for the first tee or the clubhouse and then try and just shape it back into the fairway, ideally for the green. But par 3, 227 yards. I think there are only a few courses I can think of off the top of my head that finish with a par 3, but this is my favourite one of those, certainly. Great fun. Summer green fee is £120. Don't let the video that Malcolm's voiced over on the Prestwick St Nicholas website put you off in any way.
Alan hit some nice golf shots on it. The views are stunning, and the view out the clubhouse is absolutely stunning. We just don't really realise just how history that place is.
Great clubhouse as well, actually, now you mention it. Absolutely terrific clubhouse.
Just to paint a picture of what those views must look like, I've not been there, but I can imagine that you're looking out to the Ailsa Craig, you're looking across to the Isle of Arran, and an afternoon round there when the sun's setting in the west is going to look absolutely picture postcard perfect and stunning. I can't think of too many better vistas in the world of golf than that little vista that I just painted there, which is, you get at a few courses up and down that coast, and it gets pointed out at Troon on the open coverage and all that sort of thing. And you're probably a little bit even closer to the Ailsa Craig, so it's a little bit more prominent to you. But just beautiful.
Let's just say, I think for a wee twilight round of golf as the sun's setting, it's brilliant. That west coast of Scotland, it probably should rename it Scotland's Golf Coast, really, because it's certainly.
Love it. Fight.
Just for the new ones, we've been not quite at it so much on this series about Mr. Fife, who's now maybe Mr. Ayrshire, giving Mr. Duck, who's Scotland's Golf Coast, he's Lothian, a load of jet.
I thought I'd just slip it in there.
Back calling it the wet. Is it the West Coast or the Wet Coast? I've been holding that back all this time.
Oh.
So now we're just going to give Troon a hard time. Even though I went to school there, my parents lived there, and all the rest of it, I'm going to come back and defend Scotland's Golf Coast. But again, that Troon area, I mean, a bit like, I mean, we've got more championship golf courses in East Lothian than Ayrshire have, but they've got more. They've got one more open course. They've got 3. We've got 2. But again, you can play right from Prestwick, right all the way, almost up to Urban. Golf course after golf course after golf course. There's a match between Prestwick and Troon where they play 9-9, and then you're going across to the ladies course. Interesting, we mentioned ladies golf club earlier on. In Scotland, there's still a lot of men's clubs, but there are actually even more ladies clubs. So in golf, Scotland's everyone's got on, whether you're rich, poor, boy, girl, everyone's played golf together. So then what's the film? We did a wee film about that, the Portland. And the Portland then knocks onto Loch Green, which locks onto Fullerton, which locks onto Darley. And then you're out getting close to Dundonald, and it's phenomenal.
It is. It's, again, an amazing stretch of golf courses. Just terrific links land that lends itself to great golf courses. And I think there's nothing quite like, and again, moving on to our next choice is probably the time to mention it, but the next one we've got is Kilmarnock-Barassie. Is there anything like a golf course that has got a railway on one side of it, just kind of hemming you in? I think there's something magical about a railway line that is one of the borders of a golf course, and this area has got those kind of courses in abundance. But on Barassie, then what you've got is a tremendous general manager there in David Addison, young, very enthusiastic man.
You like him?
He's a lovely guy.
I'll just give it him stick because he is a nice guy, and only give really nice guys stick. But he does do. He does an okay job, does he?
Doesn't let anyone get too big for their boots, do you, Malcolm? No. But, no, he's again, and he's overseen some exciting changes there. Bit of a regeneration and rebirth of that golf course over the last few years, and in the clubhouse as well. And again, some old Tom Morris impersonators done some voiceover on a video.
Yeah, we haven't done that. We should do that one yet, but haven't done that one. Oh no, we have done Barassie.
You have. There's so many of these videos now you're forgetting them. But and again, I think in that video you do highlight the work they've done in creating the Walker Cup Players Lounge, highlighting some of the storied golfers that they've had as members of the club who've represented UK and Ireland in the Walker Cup, and even a female member who represented us in a Curtis Cup team as well. And they've got some great memorabilia on the walls. So again, whether it's before you're round or after you're round, it's definitely worth spending a bit of time in the club house. And again, if you can get some time with David, then all the better. David's
done a phenomenal about. He always makes you very helpful. He'll always bend over backwards, and that runs through the staff and the team. And the food's not bad there either. We went and met up with him, Alaminta and I, and they do solid, very good golf club food. And when I say that, that's a big compliment because they don't try and overcomplicate it. With the tastes are all there, prices are very good, and you feel very welcome with very, very friendly and efficient service. I think David's whole personality just runs through the place, and of course that he's enabled by the captain and the committee and all the rest of it. So, like a lot of golf courses in Scotland, you go in these places, you are a member for the day, and you're very much treated that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Again, it's another destination where if you zoom in on the map, you've got Kilmarnock-Barassie, and then just to the north of it on the eastern side of the railway line, Dundonald Links. So we know the history there. It's hosted Open qualifying and Scottish Women's Opens and so on and so forth. On the other side of the rail line, you've got one that everyone wants on their bucket list usually these days is Western Gales. So it's all there. It's just a great looking visual on a map. You're talking about trains and train lines. I have played Kilmarnock-Barassie, 2016. It was a while ago, and I was with. So it was a work trip, and we were down for the Open, and we played some golf. My colleagues were going back to Glasgow Airport, and I was going back to Edinburgh, and we had one car, and it was perfectly located to end our golfing trip because we all left there. They took the car. I went into the clubhouse. had a shower, got changed, got my travel bag, my luggage, and jumped on the train straight back to Edinburgh. It was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic.
It's just outside the gates, isn't it? It's literally just outside the gates.
It was not a hassle at all with luggage and golf clubs just to get onto the train. It was absolutely, you just don't see that anywhere else or many other places in the world, if any. It was great.
On the website, if you go into the video page, you will find all these videos. If you put up with my voice, you will actually find quite a lot of the history of a lot of these things. But a lot of these Ayrshire courses were really born out of Glasgow people, being the old coal mining area. And it was wet in Glasgow as it is in Edinburgh. So they came and played down the course, and the golf courses came about with a railway, an advert of the railway line, so they could have their drink, jump on the train, and go home again. And it still works today.
Geez, he's not only having a go at the West Coast, he's now having a go at us Edinburghers, Dave, for...
doesn't like cities too wet. Doesn't like the West Coast.
That's my new home you're talking about, pal. Anyway, where are we staying when we go down there?
So again, another wonderful local personality is Stuart, who owns the South Beach Hotel in Troon. And again, we've suggested spending 4 nights in some twin rooms there. Again, it's just a lovely little hotel. The staff are tremendous, look after you really well. If you're lucky enough, you might meet Stuart while you're there as well, who I'm told is a good golfer. I know he's a member at Royal Troon. I'd like to find out if he's a good golfer. If he wants to invite me out for a day at Royal Troon, I'd be happy to go and find out and attest for myself whether he's a good golfer. But he's a lovely man, and him and his team look after clients that we've sent there for many years, always very, very well.
He's a really, really, really good guy. I mean, I think he's one of the best guys there is.
Oh, are you just... what's happened here?
Oh, he's a member at Royal Troon.
I better chime in. I've never met the guy. I've never heard of him, but I better chime in to make up the 4-ball. Oh, he's brilliant. I love that guy.
He's only failing quality is he knows Stuart Smith quite well.
Yeah.
Stuart's another tour at McLaren Travel, and Stuart's one of the great guys in Scottish golf. McLaren Travel, I'm not a member, but they're another great guy based in Troon. And I used to have one of Roy, the old guy who had the company before, sadly died, but he was a hell of a character, and Stuart's carried on that tradition. But no, Stuart does. His place, South Beach, was a little bit more like Ducks used to be, very hands-on, very caring, and you'll just feel looked after down there.
Lovely little bar to sit in.
And he is actually a good golfer.
He is all right, okay. I'll have to take your word for it until he invites me out.
And Dave, it'll be sorry to interrupt your self-inviting to Royal Troon. The other thing to point out with that location there, and it's something that I've done in the past, and maybe many others have, but it's a great destination to hop onto a ferry and go across to Arran, where there's another host of 4 or 5 golf courses over there, probably subject for another episode, and all that goes on over there. But there's other benefits in basing yourself in and around there, and being able to see other parts of the country.
Absolutely. I think we mentioned Ardrossan at the start. You're not far at all from Ardrossan when you can get the ferry across to Brodick and spend some time on Arran. Again, I think it feels like we need to do one of these shows on Arran and really, spend a bit of time in that area, and maybe down, the Kintyre Peninsula as well, because, there's some tremendous golf, 7 courses on Arran itself, and then from there, there's a ferry from the northern tip of Arran takes you across to the Kintyre Peninsula, and then you've got Carradale, and you've got the 2 Macranish Dunes and Macranish Old and Dunaverty, which is obviously a favourite of Jim Hartzell that we had on the podcast like in the last season. So there's another dozen golf courses that unlock from a ferry on at Ardrossan. So yeah, absolutely.
What we didn't cover in the Aberdeen thing is how do you get there? So just going back to Aberdeen very quickly, it's got an airport. Where can you fly in from?
So it's mostly links from within the UK. There are some international destinations from into Aberdeen and in and out of Aberdeen, but you're really generally coming through a UK airport to head up to Aberdeen. That said, as Ross touched on earlier, the drive up from the Central Belt, if you were landing or starting in Aberdeen, in Edinburgh or Glasgow, is a very enjoyable one. And if you give yourself a bit of time, pop into Montefieth or Panmure or Montrose and play around the golf on your way, right? So I think you can absolutely fly into Aberdeen, but there's also the road routes in that are past, but you'll go past some amazing golf courses as well. I have many times done a day trip to Cruden Bay from Edinburgh, played and come back and reminisce on all the birdie putts I missed on the way back.
Well, next time you want to do that, and you're volunteering to drive, I'll come in the passenger seat with you.
It's easy to pick you up because you're in Edinburgh, whereas Malcolm's away 80 miles away, like down nearly in England.
Oh, thanks, boys. Thank you very much. Right, be quiet. Ayrshire, getting there. Now, we can get there from Glasgow by train, but obviously we've got Glasgow, so that's international airport, so flying in there isn't too difficult. You could stay in Glasgow and drive down there, but there's lots of accommodation down in Ayrshire and Prestwick, lots of self-catering and bed and breakfast, and just a couple of other members. And the Donald Lynx is a member, and their accommodation is pretty good. They've got, do you want to talk about their accommodation a wee bit, Dave?
Yeah, tremendous lodges there. Everything from kind of single rooms up to, is it six bedroom lodges? It's a great place to congregate with friends. The 6-bedroom lodges, there's a wee putting green out there. You can have a little bit of an evening barbecue, have a putting competition. The clubhouse, obviously just walking distance from the lodges. Tremendous food and beverage offering in there. Lovely little whiskey room. They've got a lovely, I know down at Renaissance you very much enjoy the plunge pool after a tough afternoon on the links. They've got a couple of little hot tubs in there as well. You can go and sit in the steam room and unwind after a round of golf. So yeah, a beautiful place to spend some time.
And then we've got the marina at Troon right on the old course with a great car park. I stayed there last year, looked after us really, really well. Food was very good. I said the views are stunning. Ross going to describe them a bit before. They're not that dissimilar to Presidency next, looking across to the sea and on a pretty night. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And then some great places to eat. I mean, we shout out to Macallan's Oyster Bar. Macallan's right down on the pier where they've got a lobster shed and so on. And then you've got Scott's. I think they've got a place in Prestwick too. And if you're in Troon, the Venice for an ice cream takes me back to my childhood. I mean, it's just got some fantastic ice cream, and the Italian influence on ice cream in Scotland has been huge, but especially down in that part of the world. And Musselburgh are two of the big places for ice cream.
Musselburgh on Scotland's Golf Coast, of course.
But it is. I am slow. I'm getting slow. So anything else we need to cover off there, guys?
Again, just two amazingly rich areas. We've tried to give people a bit of a flavour here as to what they could do, but the options are literally endless. And I would urge anyone who's considering a trip to either of those areas just to kind of plunge headlong into it, and they'll come up with dozens of options of their own as well, on top of what the ones we've discussed today.
Yeah, but for the purposes of what we've designed this episode for, you can play and stay for around £500 and have a good time of it, and then expand what you want, if you want, how you want, out from there. But that's pretty good value, it would seem.
Join the 1457 Society. If you go on the website, you can join there for a massive £49. We do little events, and actually we got one coming up to come on at Barassi, and a few more coming on the way with that. We'll be going around doing some of the other regions in the next few weeks, so watch out for that. When we'll release them, what they've been dispersed with, I don't know, but we've got some great podcasts coming up. Thanks for all your support so far. We got to number 5 in UK podcasts. That's all down to you listeners, so thanks for listening, thanks for putting up with us, and tell your friends if you want to bore them too and you don't like them, tell them to come and listen to us. That would be phenomenal. I'm never going to acclimated. I didn't know there's a correlation between America and Australia, but anyway, that's just Scots being Scots. So you will find us on the website wheregolfbegan.com, and again, if you go to that golf page, you'll find all those regions broken down. You can subscribe to our on our website for our regular newsletters, join the society, and you'll find us on social media, Where Golf Began, Facebook, Scotland Where Golf Began. If you want to email us, get in touch with some ideas for podcasts, info@scottmcgolfbegan.com. Thank you, Ross and Dave. Thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed that. See you soon. Stay safe and be careful, and I won't have another drink.